Hey guys, Andrew coming at you. Welcome for another installment of your comments and questions being answered about Sweden and other things in general. And we are in part two. I'm just going to go right into it today because most of you probably saw the video yesterday. So, one guy asked here, and this was about the WOW Airlines. Thanks for the information. I'm from Ohio and traveling with WOW Air from Pittsburgh to Iceland and then to Paris. Have any advice? And thanks. And go Pens. Let's go Pens. My advice would be just kind of make sure that you've booked your luggage online. That's really important. As I said in a previous video, that I liked WOW Air. Now, there's no movie on the airplane, but if you have an iPad, that flight, you're probably flying for about 9 hours or so. If you have an iPad and you got Netflix now, you can load up your music on Netflix, or you can bring a book. The first plane that I flew had kind of small space for my legs because I was all the way in the back. But then the other part of the plane, it's a little bit smaller maybe than you get in a regular plane, but it was okay. I didn't want to start pulling my hair out. Like, the point where I wanted to pull my hair out and I felt like I was on an airplane too long was like right when I landed. So I think it's overall a good airline as long as you book your luggage ahead of time, because one couple didn't and it cost them like $650. They were right in front of me and they were not happy, which I can understand. So with a budget airline, always do your homework beforehand. I had a scary situation once with Ryanair, where I had a ticket in Swedish. It was my first year in Sweden, and I guess you had to get this stamp. If you ever fly Ryanair and you're an American citizen, you have to get it's called a stamp. You have to show them their passport before entering the airline, and then get a stamp before you even go through security. I had no idea, and I think it's such a scam because. But anyways, it does say on the ticket. Mine was in Swedish, didn't understand. People that were with me didn't understand, and so I got a stamp when I was in Sweden and didn't think anything of it. And when I was flying out from Warsaw, Poland, the girl looked at me and said, "No plane," because basically I didn't have the stamp. And there's no way you can go all the way out. You have to go all the way out of the airport, get the stamp, and then try to go all the way back through security. You're not going to make it. So anytime you fly a budget airline, look at that. Also look at the luggage. Now, what I'll say that, even though I wasn't happy with my experience with Ryanair, I've flown with them again, and I've flown with Wizz Air, and I've flown with there's one more cheap air. I can't think of it now. They're a Czech airline that I've also flown with, and all those airlines, they make their money off of people's mistakes. And if you do your homework ahead of time, it's definitely the cheapest way to travel. Get the dimensions right for your luggage. I'm sure you can buy luggage in the States or in Europe where you can just have as a carry-on, but with Wizz Air, make sure that you do the right thing there on that one. So, that's awesome. Brianne says, thanks for answering your question about groceries. You're welcome, and thanks for the help with everyone that commented. It's really cool that they have machines that help trolleys and food get to the front and how recycling is encouraged. I agree. I think that it would be awesome if the U.S. can get on board more with recycling. Although I have seen more of a push towards recycling in the U.S., but I love the idea of making the cans worth something and charging you a fee up front to encourage you to recycle. I think that's awesome. She wants to know how recycling is done at home in Sweden. Now, most apartment complexes, and if you live in a house, I'm sure there's areas you go in and they have everything laid out. So metals, cardboard, glass, anything and everything you could think of the recycled. There's a specific place you can put that. And in Sweden, people also keep their leftover food that you put in a machine that's actually used to power the buses. So recycling is top notch in Sweden, and I think it's great that it's encouraged, and it's nice that we're doing it. The only thing I've always been interested in, someone can comment below because I don't 100% know, is recycling paper. I've always heard arguments with recycling paper because I've heard there's a place in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I've heard that if you recycle paper, it causes a lot of pollution, and that maybe the best way is actually to plant more trees. But the nice thing is nowadays we can send so many things via email that there isn't a problem with that. And when I commented before about cardboard, I guess there is a problem with the environment. That's the downside with the shipping. It's nice to shop online, but I would encourage everybody to make sure they're recycling their cardboard so that we're not wasteful. So I hope that answers all your questions. It's also surprising that self-checkouts are starting in Sweden. In the States, people tend to make small talk with the cashier. Yeah, that's nice that you make small talk. I would say it says, what do you know Swedes do? Swedes small talk too. Maybe not as much as in the U.S. And again, keep in mind that my language is probably not the best to small talk. But it's always on a nice day when the weather's really nice, everybody's really happy, and everybody's smiling and in a good mood. Unless maybe someone wants to be outside and wishes they could be. That's about it. Someone commented on my song. That's really nice. Patrick mentioned that having someone that he thinks it's easier to learn a Swedish language if you try to sing it. I agree. I sang in a choir for about 4 or 5 years, and I had a great experience with the choir, and everybody spoke Swedish, and they were a little bit older than me, so I always heard Swedish all the time. Now, I decided to leave the choir so that I could pursue this YouTube thing a little bit more, to take it more serious. I needed a day once a week with a full-time job to have a YouTube day where maybe I sit down and do a couple of videos, but you have to set the time aside. If you're going to do YouTube, I think it's important to have uploads as often as you can. I mean, I can't do it every day all the time, but when I'm able to do it, I think it's really important. So that's something that I would say. Oscar was mentioning, I had this tongue twister thing, and it was Knut. And I'm probably still saying it wrong, but it can mean a name, a corner of a building, and also not. So it's fun. So one of the phrases they gave me with the Swedish tongue twisters, using one word so many different ways, which is really interesting. And I had a lot of fun with that, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you haven't, feel free to check out that video. And then I got a bunch from Daniel here that I'm going to read real quick and go through the video because I thought they were all really interesting perspectives. Daniel said, "Hey, just want to say I really like your take on what's different between Sweden and the US. I have a lot of friends in the US and the UK. Some things are so different, but at the end we do tend to revert back to what's cheap and easy. And fast food is getting to the US standards, and so is obesity. I think slightly higher tax on unhealthy food and a lot lower on healthy, since healthy citizens mean less strain of public health care," which is a good point. Well, that only works over here with the free health care and all that. Good point. Not going to get into that. Just wanted to say I like your videos and keep it up. Love the unbiased comparison you provide. And I hope you appreciate that. Now, I think there's always going to be a bias because I'm American. So there's always going to be a little bit. But because I've lived in Sweden so long, I think it gives me an interesting perspective on both sides. And I hope that you feel that way. And the next comment that Daniel wrote was about Amazon. Well, at the moment, we have Boxy.se to make the shopping at Amazon.com easier, and no Amazon.uk and Amazon.de is also great and useful. Yes, I have shopped there, but as he also says in his comment, is that the shipping is always what gets you, though. One big competitor we have is Cdon.se, so that's great, and I'll have a chance to check out that website. And you can look at his comment. It's in the Amazon video I did on online shopping, so anyone that's moving to Sweden, feel free to check that out to see if that works a little bit better. There's also another website that starts with an F that I hope that someone can link below because I can't remember it, but it's kind of like stuff you can buy on eBay, but you can buy it from the Swedish website and get it much quicker. So let's say you want an iPhone charger or something for your phone, something small or electronic. I bought a battery for my it was like a portable battery that I could take with me when I traveled off that website, and I got it within 2 days, so that's really good. One person said, "Good effort, better than expected" on my Swedish. Murday, thank you very much. And then the last one, Sapira said, was talking about the uppehållstillstånd. Let me try this again. I never say this word, so it's always hard for me to say, but it's uppehållstillstånd. Residence permit. Not exactly sure how the green card works, but I think your green card is permanent and uppehållstillstånd has to be renewed. Yeah, when you get your work permit or a student permit, it's good maybe for me, my first year it was good for a year, and then it was good for another year. Now I've seen people that have come to Sweden that they have one that's good for 2 years. But I think after you've lived in the country for 4 years, you can apply for permanent residency, and that's what I went ahead and did. And so I got a permanent residence card, but I think that you still have to get a new picture on it every 5 years and get your fingerprints just so you stay in the system. I don't know how green cards and things work in the United States, but I do know it's a lot of paperwork. I have a friend of mine who married a Swedish girl and brought her to the States, and they had to have documentations to prove their relationship, how long they were together, and when I saw the book that he had together, it was like this thick full of stuff that he had in there. So very interesting stuff. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I'm not sure how much I'll be uploading here in the future. I'm having my girlfriend come to visit me. She's never been in the States before, so I'll be traveling. I will still upload when I can, but I probably won't be uploading as frequently as I had now. But you never know with me, because it seems like every video I say I'm not going to upload, and then I'm always uploading a lot. So I'm sure that'll probably still be the case. Again, I like everybody's comments. I really think it's great that you're enjoying the videos, and I really appreciate the feedback. I read all your comments, and when you tell me to keep up the good work, or that you think that what I have to say has value, it really means a lot, and it gets me excited and motivated to keep making videos. And if you're someone new that maybe wants to try to do YouTube, even if it's the same subject that I'm doing, I would like to encourage you to do that, because it's a fun hobby to do on the side, and you get to learn how to video edit, how to record stuff as well. And lastly, like I said in the previous video, I have some books and things and links below from Amazon. I get a cut of that, of course, but they're books on Sweden that I read before coming, so if you're interested in that, my music links are also below. If you like this video, please give me a like, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, because I will try to be as regular as I can, and I'm always interested to get feedback from you guys. I wish you a great summer, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.